Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Vic Benedict. This is Ninja Gaiden 2. We're playing Master Ninja Mode, Chapter 10, the Temple of Sacrifice. So I have a couple of still shots here, and this is my current life it's going to be showing right there. That's how much life I have currently. And I have 4 lives of the 1,000 gods, so that's what my health bar could be right there. So if you compare those two, if you go back, the reason I showed you that was because I kind of wanted to justify my use of having to use a a talisman of rebirth over here, and all the magic I had, because it's pretty tough. These guys, I gotta say, these guys here, these water demons, gotta be like one of the hardest enemies in this game. If you're just going up against them, they just rip you to shreds so fast it's not even funny. But so we're going to be facing nothing but these enemies and the dragon demons, those gold Van Gelfs, up into the save point. And I died so many times over here. That final tail slash, when they slash downwards, it takes like 2/3 of your health away or more, maybe 3/4 of it. But so the area where I used the talisman of rebirth is on. When you're facing the Shadow Ninja Reietsus, there's like, God, I don't even know how many of them there are. There's more than 6, probably fewer than 10 though, but in Sigma 2, I think there's only 2. Here there's 5 times that amount, possibly. 4 times that amount. Definitely, probably at least 4 times that amount. But this is a very hard chapter. We have not only is this chapter hard, not only does it have a hard boss, but the next chapter, man, that chapter is so fucking hard in the beginning. So I'm going to be taking you through this stage, and a word of caution, because you need to enter the next level with a lot of stuff, because that first gauntlet, I think it's the hardest thing in the game. Personally, because there's so many mages and IS ninjas, and it's just, they don't even give you a break ever until you get to that save point, and it's just such a struggle. So I'll be taking you through all this, and I'll be showing you one exploit. So even though I wasted a talisman of rebirth, there's another one on the Test of Valor. That I'm gonna be doing the Test of Valor. It's one of those ones that's not like impossible to do. Oh, by the way, I have this suit equipped because this was kind of a dark level, so I wanted the contrast of this white suit to make the visibility a little bit better for you guys to watch. And it's probably one of the coolest costumes for the Fiend category. But I am going to be showing you where there is a source to get an infinite amount of money. So I have currently, I have at least 500,000 essence points, or essence, yeah. And I'm probably going to be getting at least a couple hundred. I might even max out my essence. It's going to take a while, but I probably won't, though, in hindsight, because I'm trying to get this guide completed before God of War Ascension comes out. This is my most highly anticipated game of this year. I can't wait. I just want to play it so badly. Anyway, because it's been 3 years since the third one came out, and I've played all of them. I love them so much. I beat them all on the hardest settings, and that's just the game I love the most. But this game, it's a close call. This game is my second favorite franchise, though. So more water demons here. The tripwire point is like right there when you jump over the line. So I probably won't be grinding for money. I think if you max out your money, you're at 6.9. So you'd be at 999,999. So one essence under a million. I think that's how it works. I know in Sigma 1 it was, you maxed out at 5 nines. So, yeah, I just used whatever I could here. Did not hold back on the magic, didn't hold back on the incendiary shurikens, because there is a place up ahead where there's an infinite amount of shurikens to pick up off a course. so don't worry about wasting those shurikens. This was just taking forever, and I don't know how I got on fire. I guess I'm just so badass. I heated up so hardcore in Ninja Gaiden that they decided to put me on fire for a while. And like in NBA Jam game, it just came into my mind. I haven't played that game for 15 years. Anyway, so I'm extinguished. Okay, so down here, oh, that's an easy chest overlook, but it gave me a pittance there of orbs. So down here, this chest over here contains money, but it probably contains ghost fish too. Alternatively, this is the life of the gods, and I'm going to pull up the number here. It's number 7, so there's 2 more to collect. There's no more of those on this stage, though. The 2 that we need are going to be on Chapter 11. So if you don't have too much money, make sure you grind for money on the part that I'm going to be instructing you to do so. It's a pretty decent spot, and I don't know, I've just been grinding for money in different parts of the game, so hopefully I don't know, I hope whoever's watching this and needing a guide for this has at least like half as much as I do. You know, so you don't have to waste too much time on this stage, because it's not really the most ideal place to grind for money, but it's a really good spot though, overall, compared to some other spots that I found. So here, just check the daggers. All these enemies are so deadly here, and on Sigma 2 they didn't have the Vangelfs. They had the water demons, but those gold Vangelfs were replaced by chainsaw bazooka zombies here. So there's a lot of these guys, so just throw all your daggers here. You don't want to die, and I wanted to get this guide you know, up and running. It's a long level to be sure. I'm going to be fast forwarding lots of parts that are just tedious. There's one battle with the spiny fiends and the acid worms that just took like 10 minutes of just just IS spamming bullshit. But yeah, I'm trying to learn how to fight these water demons a little bit better. If anyone knows a weapon that works better than the lunar, let me know, because I think it's a pretty good weapon to work with on those guys. The dragon sword just has no range. It's nice to be able to Azuna drop. You can Azuna drop with the lunar. I'm just not very good at doing it. Scythe seems pretty good, I guess. I'm not really sure. I love the versatility in this game. As far as like, if you're not doing well on an enemy, you could choose another weapon, and it might, you know, be just the trick you're looking for to beat the enemy. But you can't just use a weapon. You have to be a skillful user of that weapon. So there's a notebook, and now here's the save point here. And I was in the predicament here where, as you saw, I used all the magic I had, and I used all the incendiary daggers I could. So this part's just kind of lame. I'm shooting arrows at these guys, and it might not look like they're getting affected, but they're too far away for you to notice. You will notice in a moment that they kind of stagger backwards, and blood fall. See some of the pools of blood that they dripped out right there. They do get affected. It's just that you probably would have to hit these guys with like 100 arrows to kill them, like all headshots. You know. At this point, since I didn't have any magic, I'm like, and it was taking me like a half an hour, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, if they kill me and I have to use a Talisman of Rebirth, so be it, so I could start using a little bit of magic. I wasn't even getting hit there, so it looks like you can block that, the Piercing Void, those discs that they throw at you. I think it might deal some damage to you, but it's better than getting hit by it. You know, just getting your guard broken and receiving a little bit of damage. I'm using this standard UT attack because I'm very poor at doing the 360 attack, let alone trying to do it on landing. Some people can do it over and over and over again without failing. I fail every time practically. Then when I get one in, I'm so lucky. So these guys go into OT status, and you've got to really hustle over there because they'll regenerate their health promptly. You can go back into the area where the save point is. There's a little narrow passageway, and when I was playing this on mentor mode, I was trying to toy around with seeing if I could stay over there and do 360 attacks, and hopefully like they wouldn't be able to get through the narrow passage. But sure enough, they can fit. They'll squeeze through. They'll even throw their discs at you through those little mountains, those little rocks. It's really messed up, but the reason I don't go back there is because I just don't want to get trapped. There's plenty of room over here to work with. So fortunately you can't, or unfortunately rather, you can't unspawn these guys in any way, I don't believe. I never tried it, but I know that there's no going back to the store right now. So you see how many of these guys there are. So this is like this was the boss of level 1. Now we have like 10 of that boss all at one time. But you see, he grabbed me, and I knew he would probably be killing me right about now. So he's even looking at me right now, son of a bitch. So I'm casting the Piercing Void, and I know it does significant damage to these guys, but one obviously is not going to kill them unless they're really low on HP. Don't even worry about collecting the money that these guys give you. It's really insulting. I think they only give you like 1,000 essence per. Even if you kill them with a UT, I think you only get 1,000. So just expedite charges like I did right there, and don't worry about just getting $1,000. That's nothing. You should probably get about, I don't know, 1,000. That doesn't seem right for a boss. You should probably get about 5,000 for these guys. They're pretty damn tough. I mean, because 5,000 is the cost of one low healing item, and I've had to use several of those in the course of fighting these guys, if not in this battle. So they have a pretty predictable pattern. They have a stomp that they do. He did it right there. Fortunately, I was kind of in an animation where I had iframes right there, I think, but this attack works pretty well. You know, I'm getting hit right there all over the place. Going to use a Grains of Spiritual Life because I know there's another one on the course up ahead. I also know that one of these courses up ahead has a Devil Way Mushroom, so in a moment I'm going to go up there, grab that, and throw it at these guys. So the area where you can grind for money is on the next part. And you're going to be grinding for money. The enemy that you're going to be doing it on is the Spiny Fiends, and you can get about 2,500 per kill session, and they're really brief kill sessions too. Basically all you're doing is throwing UT incendiary shurikens, and you're getting about, I calculated it, I'm not sure, it was kind of a funny number. They were giving me 630 per kill per enemy. So there's another guy right there. So 630 times 4. There's like 4 garbage bugs or whatever you want to call them. You could also kill the acid worms, and those guys, they'll give you 3,500 per kill. But the only thing about that is that to get 3,500, you've got to do a UT kill on those guys, and it's not always that easy to do that. So I got a little bit of health regeneration. Now I'm going to use the Void. Yeah, this gets a little bit ridiculous. I think it got ridiculous like 5 minutes ago. You know, I don't know why they put so many enemies in this game. Okay, so he fell over. Now it's just this one guy left. These guys really aren't that hard. There's just so many of them, and they're rather intimidating. Okay, so that's the last guy. No need to worry about anything else. Just head forward and hit the save point. and remember to get this item here. We're going to be refilling our health. We're going to be healing, and this part's going to be sped up in a moment, or right now rather. That's the point where there's the shurikens there, and this is a pretty good spot to stand. It's just that you can get interrupted so easily because these guys, they'll shoot gobs of acid at you, and it's going to deal pretty good damage to you. And it takes a lot of scythe UTs to kill those acid worms, seriously. It also takes a lot of IS charged attacks to kill them too. So you see, like right now, I'm trying this for a moment. It's just not even working for me. I tried this. I tried the IS attacks with charging up ISs, but it would never work out because these guys would keep hitting me. So a really good technique to do is instead just don't even worry about killing the worms, because I made a video about this. All you need to do is clear this area, which this was like a 10-minute battle, the one I spoke about. You clear these guys, you go to the next area, and then all you have is like you have the same enemies, but there's no bugs around, and all you need to do is spawn that batch, head back to the save point, and then save it, and then die, restart, and then all you need to worry about is this arena, because this arena will populate every time with enemies to kill for you to get essence. But you could totally unspawn the next set of death worms, so don't even worry about the next fight, because I purposely unspawn those guys. It's the real nuisance. So this is why I had to fast forward it. The battle's over now. Make sure you go back and save it before you do this. There's not any risk here. This is going to be fast forwarded too, because all I'm doing is bow UTs to get a lot of money on these guys. There's a lot of lag to begin with here, and you have to drag the essence up to you every single time. There's just the fewer enemies on screen, the less lag there will be. So every time I kill some, I have to just tap on or hold the Y button for a moment to drag the essence up to me. And in that box, there's some healing orbs too, so which I need, and I badly need those. So looks like that's the last guy right here. That's going to be back into normal speed now. I'm going to get some healing orbs. And the next thing to do is collect the crystal skull. I think it's number 26 or 27. I'll be pulling up the number so you can see what it is. Switch to the dragon sword to get myself a little more extension on my jumps when I platform here. So that's, yeah, the 26th skull. Okay, and now I went over here, and even though you don't see it, I unspawned the worms over there. So now I'm going back over here, and I'm just gonna allow myself to get killed because I've already saved it. So I'm just gonna show you now. There's just this worm over here. So I'm just gonna hit him a couple of times. All my data is saved. The worms are unspawned. I'm just going to let myself get killed right there, and I'm going to show you what happens every single time you restart. You won't see the death worms for a moment, but they're not going to be around anymore. So every time you restart, you're going to have the first battle is going to be replicated every single time, but you don't have to do it because you've already done it. You've got the rock pillar to lower, so you can skip it. But if you want a lot of money, you could get shurikens and go over here and just charge up your shurikens and just kill the bugs. Like I said, they gave you 630 each, so you get about 2,500 per session. See all my money right there, 538,000. And then just you can still save it. You can go back and save it like I'm gonna do now. It's a little bit risky. If you want to try to kill these guys, go for it. It's not that risky if you're just spamming arrows, but if you're charging arrows, it's easy to get your guard broken. But see, you can go back and save it every single time. Alright, so now I'm going to hit that save point and just back my tracks up here, see how all the enemies respawn. Just grab some daggers, you might as well, on your way out. And Okay, so what's going on next? We got some pretty tough battles up ahead, but there's a lot of chances to get a lot of money in this stage, just as there was in the previous chapter. I just completed the Trial of Valor, the Test of Valor, so it's a very doable trial if you're not very good at them, like I'm not. So there's an empty chest up there. There's going to be a cutscene right here, so if you frequently die over here, what you want to do is get the cutscene and then save it, so every time you come over here you don't have to rewatch this cutscene, because you can't skip it. But what I did over here, this may be in fast forward speed, but there's a lot of these mutant bats over here, so they really should give you some arrows over here. This is ridiculous. They don't even give you any arrows. So if you didn't restock on shurikens, or incendiary shurikens, then you're kind of in a bad spot over here. You don't even have to kill these guys, but they're going to get in your way when you're facing the water demons below. So there's just a bunch of these guys up here. I like this level pretty much. Overall, it's a good level. I don't like the fight on the staircase. It's way too long. They throw way too many enemies on there, and that's why the game just overloads on data, and it ends up lagging big time. It can really screw you up. But I haven't got there yet. But I know full well what's going on over there. It's really bad. So you definitely want to bring a Talisman of Rebirth over there, which you can acquire on the Tests of Valor. So here I'm just throwing shurikens now. Gonna save it. I may have saved it, but I wanted to at least kill as many of these bats as I could before I use the heal feature of the save point. I was actually complaining about, when I was playing Sigma 2, how it always says heal and save when you're playing Sigma 2, and I always thought that they should give you an option, and here they do. So every time I say a grievance about Sigma 2, please don't misconstrue that I'm like hating on that game, because it's a good game. It's a really nice, polished, good-looking game that plays impeccably. It really does, just as this game plays impeccably. But I just like this game more. That's all. That's all there is to it. It's a personal preference. So I got damage right there. But the reason I never really gave this game attention is because I don't care for the Xbox 360 as a system. It's just my preference. I like PlayStation better. I like Sony more than Microsoft, and I feel that their console is superior to the Xbox's console. But I learned my lesson, because you shouldn't just use that as a basis to not play great games on other consoles, because this game is better than Sigma 2. It's just really better. And like, this is the only place you can play this game at. Just like Gears of War, you know, at this moment in time, you can't play it on the PlayStation, just like you can't play God of War on the Xbox. That may change someday in the future. I hope it doesn't, though. There should be games that just you can't play on the other system. Some games also have very bad ports from one system to the next. Probably Bayonetta is like probably the most demonstrative example of that. It's a piece of shit on the PlayStation 3. I played it briefly because they're trying to put it on the PlayStation 3. It was originally an Xbox game. It is. It's that the Xbox version is far superior that I know. I mean, I've seen both the IGN reviews, and if I did ever play that game, I would never play the one that's on the PlayStation 3, because that game it's not implemented well enough. They didn't port it over properly. The hardware can't handle it. But that's because it was made for the Xbox 360 the way this game was made for the 360. And there's a really good article about the two versions. One of my subscribers actually pointed it out to me. His name is Ryu Goomba. He directed me to a really fascinating article showcasing the differences between these games. Like in Sigma 2, like you would hit the switch here with the helmet splitter move, and then this would drop down, but no enemies would come out of here. So that's another example of just how hard this game is, you know? These enemies are fucking hard. I can't tell you how hard they are. Really hard with my little bit of health, you know, that I have. And so I think I missed a charge there, and I just said, you know what? Screw this. I need some range. So I'm going to switch to the lunar staff here, but I think I even missed this one here. It's funny how you can remember which ones you miss because they piss you off so much. But so what I don't like about Sigma 2, the enemies, I hate the lesser fiends that they put in there. Those guys with the hollow chest cavities, I think they're also called flare demons or shadow fiends. Those little critters that are so fast. They populate Rachel stage almost exclusively. And when I played this game, I was surprised that they weren't in this game, but Hayashi put them in Sigma 2. And I'm glad that they don't exist because they're all over this level in Sigma 2, and I hate them. First of all, because they have one attack where they like... it's from Sigma 1, it's the same attack. They like grab you, raise you up in the air, and then kick you. It just pisses you off so much. It unmans you somehow. I don't know, I hate it. But I'm glad those guys aren't over here. But so what we have in their place, the lesser fiends, we have water demons. Because these water demons wouldn't be here on Sigma 2, they would have the flare demons, those lesser fiends. And the other enemy that I'm aware of that they changed is the chainsaw bazooka zombies. Those guys are pretty much, that's all there is until you get to the save point, and then there's going to be some Van Gelfs. But anyway, so that's just you know, enemy choices. Can't really bash that too much, but. Okay, so this is this one here, this Jewel of the Demon Seal. I think this is the last one in the entire game. And the other two would be on the Tests of Valor, which I didn't complete. So it is possible to obtain all 8 Jewels of the Demon Seal, but you have to earn the other two. And I tried. I gave it my best, but my best wasn't good enough. Not now, anyway. At this stage of my career in this game, if you want to call it that. So I'm going to upgrade the wind blades here. And so all the 3 Nimpos that I use frequently, I have those up to level 3. I don't really know. I use the Flame Phoenix a lot more in Sigma 2 than in this game. I'm not sure why. I guess it just kind of phased out of that. It's not that good of a Nimpo, to be honest. It's definitely one of those ones that you don't upgrade unless you like have extra ones to use it on. So anyway, okay, so from here on out, all it is chainsaw bazooka zombies. So they give you arrows here. You have an infinite supply of arrows. So what you want to do is, if you're smart, you just go to the very edge of this platform here, and then that'll spawn these guys. Fortunately, it's these guys. In Sigma 2, they're the lesser fiends down here. They're very hard guys to hit with projectile attacks. But in Sigma 2, they didn't have the whole conceit about charging stuff, charging weapons. Like when you're talking about UTs in Sigma 2, you're only referring to weapon UTs, the main melee weapons. You're not talking about incendiary shuriken UTs, because there are no incendiary shurikens in Sigma 2, and you're also not talking about bow UTs. Now, while there is a bow in Sigma 2, it doesn't charge up like this weapon does. So it took a lot of getting used to, but it's nice that you know, these sub weapons can have UTs, because it makes the game have a lot more depth to it, a lot of more versatility. Like it alters the way you play, really does, because you know, if I wouldn't be sitting here sniping enemies and wasting a lot of time and having to fast forward this footage here if I wasn't getting a lot of money on these kills. These are 1,400 point kills in essence. So you know, if the UTs weren't the same value as like if like a bow UT wasn't the same as a melee UT. If it was like the same as like getting a regular kill, then there's no way I would spam that attack unless it was a really dangerous situation. But so I ended up hopping down here because I thought that all these guys spawned. You may be forced to jump down at some point. Just be very cautious over here. And just remember, there's no save point to fall back on for quite some time. So now I'm just kind of safely using bow UTs, getting all my money, collecting all my money. Just always look around behind you, because these guys like to pop up behind you. And that should be the last one of those guys. And then coming over here, I don't like this area here, over here, with these bats. The one thing that they really did wrong in this game is not having an infinite supply of arrows. It's probably one of those design choices that they thought about. It wasn't something that they just overlooked, because you can't overlook something like that. It takes a lot of deliberation to decide. Should we have the player have infinite amount of arrows, or should we, have him have a set amount like it's Sigma 1? I thought that guy was hittable right there, but I think it really makes the game really frustrating to not have an infinite amount of arrows. I don't think it would be like it wouldn't tip the scales in the player's favor so much that the game would be so easy, because the arrows, they're not even that powerful. If they were like explosive arrows, then those should probably have a counter on them. That would be cool to have explosive arrows in this game, but it doesn't have those. But this game pays so much reverence to what Ninja Gaiden's all about. It really is. That's not to say, though, that Sigma 2 is doesn't pay the same amount of reverence. It pays the same amount of reverence. It just, I don't know. It's interesting, because I was never really insulted when I played Sigma 2, because I had no context to base being insulted on, because I had never played this game before. I probably would have been really insulted if I started playing Sigma 2 and just have never played this game before, because then I would have saw all the things that I was missing out on. But I got Sigma 1 first, and then I got Sigma 2, and I just didn't even know that there were remakes, because back then, I didn't even know. I had no idea. I was just new to playing these games. I didn't know it was a remake. But I couldn't see all the things that this game had. I mean, you know what I mean? Because if I was a real staunch fan of this game and really grounded in liking this game and thinking, if I was around back then when this game came out, then I played Sigma 2 and saw all the things that they took out and all the things that I was missing, then I could really see how I would have been insulted and have been really against Sigma 2. But I could still come from a Sigma 2 perspective and just say to myself that, this is a really good game still, even though it's not as good as this game. It's not. It's a personal preference. But I would implore you to look past just whether you prefer one console or the other, because that's what I do. Yes, I don't like the Xbox 360. I hate the controller. I think it's too heavy. It's way too heavy. It's too big. Sorry, for a moment there I thought my speaker went out. But you kind of have to. Okay, these guys got stuck right there. I remember that now. Definitely you want to do this kind of trick here. Just make these guys get stuck there. I didn't know that. Maybe it was because two of them were running through at once. I'm not sure. Definitely, if I knew about that from the beginning, I would have done that. Definitely, if I had enough arrows. But getting back to that Sigma 2 thing, I think that this game's easier, just for the simple fact that you get dealt less damage in this game. But part of me also thinks that, like, coming into the next level, I know just how excruciating it is when there's so many enemies, and like, it's like they don't even care about you. It's like they're saying "fuck you," like when you're facing so many enemies, and there's just no mercy for the player ever. But on the other hand, like Sigma 2, it just looks like, I said this in video 1, it just seems like a plague infested Sigma 2 and wiped out the majority of the enemies, to where a lot of the enemies are just like, you go to an area and there's just nothing around. It's just like, then you face like 3 enemies, you know? I don't know. Anyway, so I'm doing bow UTs on these guys here. And then we're going to do the Tests of Valor afterwards. And I'll speak about it, and it's going to be a little sped up, but it'll still be watchable. Okay, so make sure you save your data first, and now we're going to be doing the Test of Valor. I actually came here with hardly any healing items or anything, but make sure you come here with the Vigorian Flail. I only have this thing up to level 1. It's kind of a nuisance. You see, I'm close to death at several times in the game, but when you just jump away and then all the orbs come to you. There's better techniques where you can get some, like, you hit a couple times and you like evade or dash or jump up in the air to free. I mean, there are ways of doing that without getting hit, without even getting bitten. But the rest of this fight is not that bad, because these acid worms here, whenever you see one burrow under the ground, don't charge a UT, because chances are it's gonna come up right where you are. They always do that to you. But 3,500 a kill here. It's really significant money that you can make on this trial here. What else? Okay, so at one point I got grabbed. They speared me with their tongues, and I got grabbed. I didn't expect to live, but I lived, and so that right there, that's 3,500. That's a lot of fucking money. And there's not even that many of these guys either to worry about. But their attacks they're not that bad. I mean, they'll shoot what they do is that they stick their tongue out into the water, collect acid, and then spit it at you. You're safe when they are drinking the acid. You need to be relatively close to these guys, though, to hit them with the scythe. I mean, you can't be on the other side of the screen and still hit them. So it's a little bit of a gamble. Like you see right there, I was charging, and I knew it was my bad right there. But it's a little bit of a gamble to charge up, because there's multiple of these foes on screen at the same time, and I mean, during your charge, they might shoot an acid ball at you. It's just how it's going to go. So just make sure you have a couple of healing items here. Just I would recommend like 3 of the grains of spiritual life. So I mean, you're going to get 1 of the grains of spiritual life back if you don't have any in your inventory. So if I could do this with the amount of health that I have, I'm going to be picking up 1 more Lives of the Thousand Gods prior to the mid-level boss fight, and that'll be 5 of those that I've collected and haven't even used. So right there, I didn't expect to live. But see, they don't even take that much damage away from you. I mean, they could be really brutal about it, like in Sigma 2. These guys are in Sigma 2, and I think a grab by them would kill you. But that's not really how you should do difficulty. You shouldn't just kill the player outright. I think the water demons are a pretty good example of that. They deal a really good amount of damage to you, but that's like the one just like the one odd thing that this game does with that enemy. It's like, I don't really know, because that enemy, it deals damage that it's not really proportional to the amount of damage that other enemies deal you. But maybe that's just the way they wanted to do it. I really don't know how many worms there are here. If you wanted to bring incendiary shurikens here, that would be a really good idea. But then if you were just jumping around tossing those shurikens, then you wouldn't be getting your UT kills unless you're doing IS UTs. So that's the end of the trial. You get a Talisman of Rebirth. Well, I won't spoil it for you. But there's that, and then check out the other items you get. See, grains of spiritual life, like I mentioned, and then you get some ghost fish. Now, that's not really a reward, but it's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of lame. Just some fucking fish. I got the achievement, though, for beating that trial. I still don't know what the title refers to. I think it's called, like, something of 8. 8 of white. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, moving on. The next thing we're going to be doing is doing the helmet splitter move, or the variation of the lunar attack of the helmet splitter to get these guys to spawn here. This is an optional fight, and the place that I'm at right now is not a blind area, not a blind spot or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, I would their projectiles would go either through me or above me. Not really sure exactly, but there's quite a lot of these guys here. Sometimes I think I got more to spawn than typical, but okay, so the thing about this whole area is that you get a grains of spiritual life from that course right there, so you don't want to buy too many of those at the store. Just buy 2 of those and then pick up that one. And then also, you're not going to want to buy more than 2 of the herb of spiritual lives, because there's going to be 1 to pick up on the Quetzalcoatl boss, mid-level boss fight, and then we're going to be doing the famous stairway fight, which is completely ridiculous in my opinion. It's there's so much lag. It verges on unplayability. Pretty much whenever there's way too many enemies, it's just like there's so many things wrong with it. They're loading way too much data into that whole fight, and it seems to never end. That's one of the reasons this video is so long. Anyway. So really watch out for these water demons. See how much damage that took, right? That's maddening. How much damage you get dealt on this. But there is going to be a Lives of 1,000 Gods. It's going to be the last one. Coming up, so I will have stacked up 5 of those in my inventory, and I just did the stairway fight, and I used one of the Lives of the 1,000 Gods. So at the save point, I also used one of my Spirit of the Devils, so I could have 4 Nymphos in my key gauge. I don't know. I didn't want to do it, but Nympho is so handy on that fight. And there's going to be another Spirit of the Devils in the next level if you interacted with the Correa's, or I don't know her name. If you interacted with the gravestone up ahead right here. Don't go too far. Like stop right there, and you see these guys here. They always are in that animation of they're just waiting to spawn. It's really interesting. They're just about ready to spawn. If I went a little bit further up, they would have started getting into motion. It's really weird sometimes. This game has a lot of weird things that happen in it. So, so if you really need to use one of the Spirit of the Devils like I did, I really hope I don't end up regretting that decision. So this either contains money or ghost fish right here, and if I were you, I would ignore the mutant mats, ignore the water demons. Just run to the mid-level boss. Run to the area where the cutscene is. Unless you don't, I don't know. You're gonna need you're gonna need everything. So don't waste your time here. There's gonna be plenty of opportunities to get money on the fight up ahead. So if you miss this Lives of the 1,000 Gods, don't worry about it. It actually would be less stressful to get it after the cutscene, because I think I even walk around. Was this the take where I walked around for a second? I was trying to see if, like... No, it wasn't, but trust me, you can go get the Lives of the 1,000 Gods. It doesn't disappear or anything on you. So, this mid-level boss fight is very easy. There's one attack of his that I don't know how to dodge. It's his red laser beam attack. I never know how to dodge that, so if he ever does it, I cast Nimpo. His other attack is a very, very slow fireball. I mean, it's so slow that if you get hit by it, you know, you're obviously, you really are not paying attention, but hit his head, hit his rib cage. I think you deal a little bit more damage to the head than the rib cage, but he telegraphs the move. The move that I mentioned, he telegraphs it very well, so you'll know when he does it. If anyone knows how to dodge that, leave a comment, by the way. But I think he does it up here once, like, yeah, like whenever he does that, I know he's going to do the attack. So, hell, I dodged it right there. I don't even know how I dodged it, but I dodged it, and I threw the void. It took away almost half his, well, it does take away half his life. I just had a little bit more than half his life remaining on his health bar. So he goes down. In Sigma 2, you don't get a reward. I mean, you do get a reward. You get $10,000 for fighting him. And he's optional, too, on Sigma 2. You don't have to fight him. Here, you do have to fight him. So here's a fight up ahead. I'm not really proud of it. It's not, like, my best work ever. But I don't even give a shit because it's so god-awfully laggy. I can't even fight properly. It's just ridiculous. So go up ahead. There are not that many melee ninjas, but there are... I mean, there's a lot more gray ninjas than there are melee ninjas. So equip the daggers. And get off a charge. Here we go. So the fight's starting now, and so I don't know. This is really hard to talk about a strategy here. Mainly, I cast Nimpo when I get into dire straits. I do the guillotine throw. Like I cast Nimpo. Like right there because I was stuck with an incendiary shuriken. But this is just so disorganized and it lags so much. Like you'll miss on landing charges because you're trying to compensate for the lag. It's also hard to get on landing charges even without the lag because you're trying to compensate for landing on an incline, which this whole thing is. So those two items right there, I hope I don't regret using that. So I'm just targeting. I'm manually aiming the Inferno so I could hit the melee ninjas. So most of these, I mean, like at the very beginning, that's when you get like the most melee ninjas. So I have no qualms about just casting Nimpo repeatedly, throwing daggers. Trying to get charges in the beginning is rather tough because you got those IS ninjas, running around all over the place. I would always keep doing the guillotine throw if I were you, if you're having problems on this area. So you see right there, I tried to do a charge, they stuck me. I'm going to cast the Inferno just to get out of this pit. Also, definitely have a Talisman of Rebirth. Just use the one that you got from the Trial of Valor. Because that'll give you more uses of the Nimpo, obviously. So here I'm flinging guys into the walls. Good, I got a Nimpo drop right there. See, there's just way too many of these melee ninjas around, so you got to really take care of them. So as far as like a weapon recommendation, I think that this is probably the best weapon you want to have around. I mostly do the regular charge. I think I got a parry right there. But since I'm so horrible at the 360 UT, I don't even attempt to do it. I think it's more effective to just do the regular UT with this weapon, not the 360, because it does do a wide circular attack, but at the end it just targets one individual, whereas the UT with the regular lunar UT, it targets everybody, and then it does that flame finishing move, which targets even more people. So it's really good. But at this point of the fight, I was pretty much resigned to. I know I was going to die. I was just saying, let these guys kill me, so I could use the Talisman of Rebirth and have more Nimpo at my disposal. But definitely keep tossing incendiary shurikens because you'll get a lot of Nimpo drops along the way. So I got a UT right there, and you could get a lot of money on this, but you really shouldn't be focusing on money here. You should be focusing on survival. So we got this extremely difficult part. We got a tough boss fight, and we also have Chapter 11 coming up, which I consider to be the hardest gauntlet in this game. So we're going to have to come to that chapter with a lot of stuff. So hopefully you've racked up a lot of money. I currently have about 600 I think at the save point I wound up with like 675,000 essence. So I've never even had that much essence before, but that's just because I know what goes on in this game on all the difficulties. It's really ridiculous, especially Master Ninja mode. Every price is more expensive than anything else. So I saw those melee ninjas up there. Sucks to get grabbed right there, but so you could potentially have a lot of uses of the Ninpo here. I thought the wind blades would be a little bit better here, but even the level 3 wind blades, all they do is shred the enemies to the point where they're delimbed. But if you keep doing it over and over again, you'll kill them. But the Inferno is going to kill a target. That's why I like it. It doesn't just delimb the target; it kills the target. It takes time for them to burn up, and your essence is going to take a moment to pop up. But that's just the way I kind of wait for it anyway. So. Another thing, just kind of stay in one area. Don't like charge all the way to the top, because you can't. You have to fight all these enemies. Okay, so even when you think they're all dead, there's a lot more coming. There's even a lot of these guys on Sigma too, but obviously here it's just an unparalleled number of enemies. So from here on out, I don't think there's many. There might not be any more melee ninjas, but I'll often fail on landing charges doing this. It's nice to have these gray ninjas though, because once you see a lot of gray ninjas around, that's probably your sign that there's no more melee ninjas coming. I don't believe they even come anymore, so they're just a concern at the very beginning of the fight. Okay, so yeah, these guys are it's just gonna seem like these guys are never gonna stop. But so once we have all the melee ninjas cleared, you can start focusing on getting a lot of money, getting kills like this with the UT. It's also good to stay kind of at the bottom, even though you can get trapped, because all the enemies have to run to you and they start from the top, so you have plenty of time to build up a charge. I did try to use, I think I used the scythe. At first, it just wasn't as effective as this weapon here, because we're just trying to destroy as many people as possible per hit. So I can't think of a better weapon than this one here. But when I started this video guide, I knew that this part was going to cause me so much problems, and it really did. I don't think it took more than 4 attempts, but the way I made it take not so many attempts was because I used the Spirit of the Devils, Talisman of Rebirth, even one of my Lives of the Thousand Gods. So all the enemies are clear for now. I'm just kind of scanning to see if got any more runners. Got a couple more, it looks like. Got this guy here. Yeah, just, it is a good opportunity to get money. But whenever you see me fail an on-landing charge, it's because I can't adapt to the incline, or I'm getting pressured. Like right there, that right there was me failing the on-landing charge. So I do it very frequently. It's not on purpose, obviously. No one wants to fail an on-landing charge. Another one right there failed it. These guys are pretty aggressive too. I think they are the guys from level 1 though. I mean, but there's so many of them for obvious reasons here. It's a hard level. You got to earn your victory here. It's a kind of a rite of passage to do this, to get to the boss fight. So I'm going to use a healing item right there. Now I got enemies kind of flanking me, so I'm going to build up my charge. One thing I just don't like about this game is that the camera never pans away from you when enemies are rushing you. I loved how they did that in Sigma 2. It was a really good addition. Like one of the smartest things I've ever seen in a game. Because that way you wouldn't even have to move the camera around. You could be facing away from the enemies, and then the camera would pan away. Then you would know that the enemies are coming. It was a little risky, but you could get really skilled at learning and reading the camera. But for this game, it just doesn't work. That does not do it. Okay, so we got a couple of guys coming down now. One guy who's D-Limb throwing shurikens. Yep, more guys. Even more guys. This is going to go on for a while, you guys. So my only reservation about this whole fight was that I didn't want to use the Spirit of the Devils. I wanted to have 2 for some of the end bosses. 2 of those on reserve, but I don't know. I guess it's going to come in handy on the next level. Because that gauntlet, chapter 11, that gauntlet is so difficult. But at least there's no fiends or anything, it's just ninjas. So, I don't know, it might be it's going to be a definite, I'm going to have fun doing it, but it's going to be really fucking hard. Today is Tuesday, the 5th. And then God of War Ascension comes out in a week. So, if you never hear from me again, that's why I'm playing that game. Yeah, so what my plans is to finish this guide up before that game comes out, because if that game comes out and I'm still recording this guide, I'm not gonna be doing this guide anymore. I'm gonna play that game because it's my most anticipated title of this year. I can't tell you how excited I am to play that. So I'm not gonna be looking. I'm not gonna even be looking on anything on the internet because I don't want to see any spoilers. I didn't even download the demo because I don't want to have my experience spoiled by knowing anything about the game. Okay, so now looks like we've cleared some enemies. Now we're making our way up. Don't be fooled though. I want you to check out something that happens right up here. Watch this. I'm going along on my merry way. This is I repeated this footage. Then look at this son of a bitch. Nice and cheap. I love that little cheap tactic that they threw in the game. At least it wasn't a melee ninja though, but when I saw that I was laughing my ass off because I knew something was going to happen. Then I saw that runner come up. And then, okay, so now we have, it's like, there's so many fucking ninjas here, it's not even crazy. Now the lag's kicking in big time. There's like an ocean of ninjas here, and I'm missing all my on-landing charges because I'm so nervous. But there's not really anything to be nervous about. There's a lot of enemies, but they're all going to go down in like 1 UT. But you see all these guys? I think there was even more before when I played Mentor. I somehow didn't get them all here, but man, I'm definitely collecting all my money here. But it's just like, how many enemies can you possibly put on the screen? And it's still pretty good though, because it's not lagging like it's, you know, like in the very beginning of it. It's just this game works really well, but it does have some issues with the lag sometimes. But for this many enemies on screen, that's pretty admirable that it's not even lagging much, or if I don't even think it was lagging at all. But the thing I noticed about this game is that it pretty much 99% of the time it doesn't lag unless you trigger battles like ahead of where you are on the map. So if you trigger one battle and then you don't kill the guys and then have them running after you, then go up to the next battle, spawn another fight, then that's where the game starts to lag, because it's not prepared for that. I guess they didn't. They intended it for like one fight at a time. So that's it. That was a long fight. I got 661,000 essence. And get this if you want, ghost fish. And don't worry, there's no more cheap little tricks or anything. All there is left is another fight before the boss fight. But now is an opportunity to save it. You definitely want to save that because we did a lot of work. Alright, we're almost on the home stretch for this boss battle. Nothing else is going to get in your way from here to the save point. So, like I mentioned, we do have a fight. So, I'll talk about the boss, since this is pretty self-explanatory here. We just have some standard enemies, just your usual standard fare over here. Elizabet, I don't know, the second time we fight her, we could do a real good trick that I know of. Hopefully it doesn't have to come to that, but it came to pass that I had to use kind of it's not a trick, it's just kind of being cheap, just doing one thing over another, one thing after another on her. So, if you're like me and you have a really hard time beating this fucking bitch, I don't know, her AI is scripted so intelligently, and it adapts to your moves with such intelligence that it's kind of frightening. But the weapon that I'm going to be using for the fight is the Falcon's Talons, and I'm going to be doing fly swallows. Man, I was looking everywhere for help because I tried every single weapon. I saw some people doing the upgrading their Falcon's Talons to level 3, which I had to level 2, so I had plenty of money. So I purchased it, and it's a really good technique. I don't know, going head to head with her is difficult. Plus, I needed to bring at least some items into the next fight, Chapter 11 fight. So I ended up wasting a Talisman of Rebirth, and I used one of my Lives of 1,000 Gods, but at least I ended the fight with three grains and all of my healing, all of the Nimpo. So all you really have to do here is just fly swallow her. So occasionally I will do the wind run to target her, and then do the flying swallow. It's a good move. Whenever you see me do that right there, it's because it didn't connect. This move, it stuns her quite a bit. You could do the flying swallow with the dragon sword too, but for some reason this works better. I don't know what it is. During the end of the fight, I'm going to be casting nothing but Nimpo, so try to get her down. So it's pretty simple. All you do is you do flying swallows. That's all you have to do. I would recommend, as I always do the what was I going to say? Always do the wind run first to target the enemy. You don't want her to siphon your life into hers when she does her heartbeat attack. So whenever she does that, I usually cast Nimpo. Don't worry about using the Nimpo you have on board, because they refill your Nimpo when you start a level up, which is really nice. So this is a hard fight no matter what you do. And for me, it was just I need to beat her. First of all, I need to beat her. Second of all, I need to beat her with a lot of my items still. So you see that tail grab, it's just, I don't know, this fight's so difficult. But this is a pretty good strategy, and it works well. And if you're not good at her, like I'm not, this is a really good technique. So you see how many hits you can get, how many stuns you can get on her. But definitely just evade the last second. She loves to do the dash attack towards you. Like that move, it's pretty easy to dodge. And all we're doing here is just flying swallows. It's not rocket science, but it's fucking hard. This boss has always been a difficult boss for me. I don't know, it's just damn hard. Goddamn hard. So right here, I didn't want to use my high potions. What am I talking about? Final Fantasy or something? High potions. Anyway, I used the Lives of 1,000 Gods, so I have 3 more of those left. Hopefully I don't have to use any on the next stage. But the only thing that worries me in Chapter 11 is the first gauntlet. So here I'm getting a bunch of stuns on her. See? She's stunned. I needed a few more hits, and I knew that since they would fill me up in the next level on my Nimpo, I might as well just try to finish her off with the Nimpo. So I cast Nimpo right about now. This one hits her, but I think the rest of them don't hit her. So you know, whenever you just need one little pit of health, they make it hard for you. So don't worry about using your Nimpo, because you'll get whatever you use, you get it back. So I just needed one more hit. Fortunately, I fly swallowed her there. I got a hit. There, I got another hit. So she's down. We will be seeing her again, though, but I got a Master Ninja ranking for getting so many kills and stuff like that. So I'll see you in Chapter 11.